Hello, Essex Junction, and thank you and welcome to Elaine Haney for joining us here today for an independent moment or Independence Moments. Um, Elaine, I really want to start by introducing you with all the things you've done, but I would be here for an hour. So what I'd like to do is just briefly say what they are, and then welcome you from that space, if I may.
Sure, thanks.
When I first got to know you better, you were, I remember you from being involved, very deeply involved with Heart and Soul, volunteering in so many spaces in our community. And then uh, there was Uber volunteer, I think would be a good description. And then will you tell us, please, the official roles that you've held here in Essex? Would you mind sharing that?
Sure. Well, thanks first of all for inviting me on to
Mm.
this program. It's pretty cool. Um, I started out as a library trustee and
Huh,
served on the Brownell Library Board for 7 years.
really?
Yeah, and I was one of the elected trustees. And then I also, at the same, for some overlap, was the chair of the Brownell Library Foundation. So did a lot of fundraising for the library. And then became a planning commissioner. And then George Tyler talked me into running for the village trustees. And so I served 7 years on the village trustees. And then that seventh year, I was simultaneously also a select board member. So I actually served 3 terms, right? Yeah, 3 terms, but one of them was overlapped
Mm.
on board. So it was an interesting attempt at building a bridge. And I think in many cases it did. And in some cases it didn't, but it was a really important experience. And I'm really glad I did it. So, but those are the official capacities.
Obviously, we've all been working very hard, for many years back towards Heart and Soul and before and forward towards work for our community that would be healthiest for all of us.
Yeah.
And now here we are in a space that uh, is healthy for all of us, just different than we had been going for.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Annie. It feels good that we wanted merger, it didn't work. We accomplished separation, knock on wood, that it makes its way through the state house completely and it is approved by the governor. Um, but what you just said was important. We're in a good place.
Mm.
It wasn't what we expected.
Mm.
We're still in a good place. And I remember being a trustee in my first year, 2012, maybe, and thinking about, I wonder if I could ever do anything with this group of people to help stop the fact that we pay 2 tax bills.
Mm.
And so, I didn't know where that was going to go, but has always been the North Star of whatever effort we were going through for me personally, was to stop that inequity, that double taxation. And so it didn't end up the way we thought it would, but we ended up with the goal. And that's the best part, but also that we're kicking off a whole new life for ourselves as the city of Essex Junction. I've never seen so much excitement and just positive vibes coming from residents. They're really excited and really proud of what they've accomplished, and they should be. Absolutely.
Yeah, agreed. I think again, like Lori spoke to in one of these discussions that we had about all the work that has been done in the past and how that um, has spoken to all the things that are coming before us. And yes, it's really exciting. It's historic and it's exciting, and also some wood.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha. Um, and so the other day I was talking to Tim German in one of these, and then I spoke to George Tyler in one of these, and they were both excited to speak about some time you spent together in Montpelier in regards to my Brooklyn came out in my Montpelier there, in regards to the bill and the
Yeah.
enthusiasm and excitement about that. Will you speak to that for a moment?
It was such a wonderful day. And, we've had a lot of milestones along the way, but this was the one that made me cry. It was Andrew and George and me and Tim sitting in the gallery of the house, and Lori and Karen were down on the floor. And when that vote happened, we just all kind of looked at each other and we're just like, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was the culmination of the biggest effort any of us had ever done. And that was, for me, like, we have still some more decisions that have to happen and we have more process to go through, but that was sort of the tipping point of, we did it. We actually got the legislature to agree to our self-determination, and it felt like this massive relief. And it was nice because the four of us, like, we've been working on it for so long together. It just was a really great feeling. And then we had pictures out in the hallway afterwards, and Lori was also a little teared up, and we were just all like, wow, we can't believe it. We did it. We were really proud. And it was there aren't a lot of opportunities in your life, at least I don't think, to really stand back and look at this body of work that you did and say, like, I accomplished that. And I felt like all of us together, and then all the village residents who up until that time, like, had worked so hard, and they weren't in the room with us at the time, but I felt all of them there. And it was a really moving experience, and made me even crazier about my community than I already am, frankly.
Yeah, I was sobbing uncontrollably in front of my computer watching y'all there, and all the whole, like, I was just, it was very moving, and for all of us. And I'm confident that I can speak for many, that we all felt like we were there literally with you all. We were made welcome by Karen's words.
Oh, beautiful.
Right, I'm crying right now just remembering them, and just thinking about them. We
It
all
really takes a village to make a city. That's what she said.
Right. And we all felt included through Karen's words, through Lori's introduction of you all up in the gallery.
Yep.
And it felt very much as though this was all of us. And I appreciate your articulation now, because I think you're saying exactly what it felt like for everyone.
Hey, we're very lucky. And what community gets to do this? Who gets to create their own new city? Right? I mean, and it's more like, it started out as like, we don't want to pay extra taxes,
right?
But now we're like, oh my gosh, it's like this birth of a new community, and who gets to do that? We're so incredibly lucky.
And collaboratively, who gets to do that?
Yes.
And collaboratively, it's
together, absolutely. Yeah.
An open and engaging process, asking for community feedback. So much inclusion and conversation and impact of.
Yeah. It's funny, I feel like it was a huge collaboration. And the funny part is that the energy hasn't stopped. Like, for a while there, we were like exhausted. Like, I would say between the vote in last November and January, we all kind of just went back to our corners and rested for a while, but then the energy just resumed as soon as the House came into session. And now that we've accomplished this, we're already sitting down planning on another meeting for, like, okay, what are we going to do next?
Yeah, sure.
What next great thing are we going to do for our community? We heard there's a grant. Let's talk about it. So people have not patted themselves on the back and sat down. They have said, awesome, what's next? And that kind of energy, I wish we could bottle it. It just is, it's inspiring, and it's comforting, and it's a joy to participate in.
I think the laws of physics help that not be bottled, but be present for us, because bodies in motion stay in motion, and the motion that this is, and that you've helped lead, is certainly positive and forward and harmonious and community. And I think that as long as the inspiration stays amongst leadership, which I don't see that not occurring, we can only go forward. I can't imagine anything else.
You
Yeah.
know, the nice part about all of this, especially the last year since the April vote, the second vote on merger, which could never have come together without dramatic hustle by you and so many other people who actually got that on the ballot. It was such a huge team effort.
Mm.
And what was the best part was that every time I went to some meeting or, you know, came together to do some work, there were faces I didn't recognize.
Mm.
Like there's always more people coming forward saying, I want to help, I want to do more. And, you know, alongside the no vote of April, you know, I lost my position on the select board, and that was upsetting, but it required me to step back, and I watched other people step up, and it was wonderful. It was so great to see more and more people get involved, and I could watch from a distance sometimes, and I could jump in and be super involved at other times, and it was wonderful meeting new people and learning that there's expertise in our community that I didn't even know existed. And it's now, you know, we are just such a powerful group of volunteers that really care. And we know that we can do pretty much anything we set our minds to. This was a huge example of that.
I think 100% agreed with everything you just said, and inspired by what you just said. There was no time that it was ever just one person. At all times, it was that physics thing, that gathering of energy and emotion. You know, watching some people drive up to sign those petitions, like the energy with which people were ready to go forward. It's just so brave and bold. And thank you so much for so many years of dedication to our community and our work, and constant and consistent good nature and good humor about all of it.
Well, I'm ready to keep going, believe it or not.
Great.
It's just so exciting. I have no idea where we're going to go next, but I know it's going to be good.
Great. Can you tell us what happens next for the bill?
Well, we're expecting that the legislature's on break right now. So we're expecting that when they come back from break, they'll do crossover, which is when bills in the House move to the Senate and bills in the Senate move to the House. And so our bill will move over to the Senate. I believe crossover day is March 11th. And then it's up to the Senate Government Ops Committee to put it on their agenda. And then they will dictate the process from there, like whether they want testimony and when they want testimony. And then once it goes through that committee, assuming they vote it out, it goes to the Senate for a full vote, and then it goes to the governor's desk. Exactly. You know, low hurdles, right?
Where's that?
Really low hurdles. We still have a ways to go. It's not a slam dunk.
It's not a slam dunk. And all the knock on wood, there's nothing all we can do for all our hope right now and all our hopeful talk, all we can do right now is trust, because the work that's been put in.
Yeah, and answer questions. So
yes,
the legislators who are going to look at this bill, they may have additional questions that were not asked at the House level. And so we would work with legislative counsel to get those questions answered. We would provide whatever testimony they need to answer those questions. Someone might have thought of something that no one else has yet and wants to bring it up. And so we have to be prepared with all of our data and all of our preparations to be able to answer those questions.
So then I wish I had said to you, instead of what I did say about trust, I wish I had said to you, besides trust, what is there else to be done? And you've answered that. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we are so fortunate to have Lori and Karen shepherd this bill through the House. But now it's moving to the Senate, which is a body that they are not a part of, but they are still colleagues of the senators. And we do have 2 Chittenden County senators on that committee, Senator Keisha Ram Hinsdale Senator Keisha Ram Hinsdale is the only member of that committee who's from Chittenden County. But she knows what we're doing. She's aware of the process. And so she'll be part of the team that brings it up and has questions, and hopefully it'll be smooth sailing there.
Great. I have so many more topics, but I think for now we should call this, otherwise it won't be a moment, it'll be Independence Hours. And will you come back again? Because I think that, I think there's so much more to discuss about the work that you've done. And there are more people with you that can bridge this opportunity forward where we can bring community members and voices.
That'd be super. I'd be happy to.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all you do. And thank you for the work you're continuing to do.
Well, thank you, Annie. I really appreciate it.